Hello, this is Kumori, and this is another con review. I'm going to talk to you guys about Gen Con, August 14th through I think the 17th, Indianapolis, Indiana, at the convention center. So the first thing we're going to talk about is I didn't know that they had pre-registration that you could actually go there and pick your stuff up on Wednesday, but we went to the mall, and so I had this book. And it's a Gen Con book. And it was nice for them to give these out because it gave a schedule of all of the panels and events and some of the advertisements for some of the stores and coupons and stuff. And there's like a big old map. Big old map! I like that they did this. The book's kind of heavy, but they give them up for free instead of just for like 4-day badgers. But it has like crosswords and different fun things inside. It explains some of the card games and stuff. And has interviews with some of the people that are at the convention. But I think that was really nifty this year. And then the other wonderful free item you got were these wonderful bags. And they have like Renaissance art on them. And that was an extra bonus because they, I think, overprinted too many. So they were just like sweet bags, which was awesome because that way you had, even if you couldn't afford to get like a Gen Con shirt or a bracelet, you would be able to have these nice tote bags. And there's a Gen Con on the back, 2014. And that way you could still feel like, oh, I'm one of those people who could never afford gear at a convention. And that was pretty awesome. I went on Sunday, so it's not like I'm critiquing the huge days because it's all I could afford because I can't afford $50, but I'm not gonna I'm gonna do it right and just pay the $30 for the family pass. It's $30 for the family pass, and you can go in on with 3 people. On the badges, but I said me because all my friends were either in Worlds or they already had 4-day passes for Gen Con. So I got there pretty early. The lines weren't bad. The dealer's room opened at about 10, which was reasonable, and there was a lot of things. I think this time I had a pretty good time with a couple of my friends. So yeah, so let's talk about some of the goodies before we break down into the hardcore stuff. At pins, I got this Enderman pin, and I got some more Minecraft pins. I got a Masterful pin and stuff upstairs. I always get pins from every convention that I go to. I got a handful, 5 little mini Pokemons. So just a few of them. I got a Liepard and a Wingull. I love Wingulls. They make a Wingull plushie. And a Liepard. I think that's what this is called. I know almost all the Pokemon, but the ones from the newer generation are kind of fuzzy. But then I got this little Leafeon for $15, and then I got this little mint fox that's just adorable for $12, and he is just the cutest little thing. He reminds me of my kitty, who for some reason isn't down here. Mr. Rafiki! But, Mr. Rafiki! Here we go. A kitty's always best for a review. But, Gen Con, it was pretty awesome this year. They had a lot of, I like a lot of their, big rock things were fun. Dealer's room was pretty nice. It was kind of hot in there. But, a lot of the mall, because most people go to the mall and eat instead of buying from the Gen Con area, a lot of their food, some of their food was sold out, but a lot of them had, sales on things that people from Gen Con would want to buy. The panel prices were kind of they were okay. Some of the, like, I wanted to do, like, the foam sword building, which I understand the material is kind of expensive, but they should have probably been 5, because I totally would have done that. But I just kind of, you gonna go? He's gonna spring, whee! I would have done a lot more stuff, but I was kind of, there's that limit where you don't try to spend over cons, and I've been saving up for this con for a while and working extra, so for a couple weeks I've been working double shifts of what I do. But anyways, so $40 is usually what you want to take to spend at a con. I am a grade A shopper, which you would want to take $40 to Gen Con at least. That's how much, and I spent about $8 on food. They were out of the food at the mall, the roll that I wanted, so I had to get something else, and I got some nachos. Taco Bell was busy as hell, but the one thing that there was a lot of steampunk stuff, which I'm not the biggest steampunk, but I have steampunk friends. And so that was good. I wish there was a little more, I understand it's a gaming convention, but there was a little more, like, necessarily anime, but also, like, gaming or, more plushies! And more figures are always the best. There was, like, 12 tables of dice. It was ridiculous. I liked some of them, they were pretty. Just, there were a lot of dice places, which is good for the dice people, because then I guess they can't overcharge you too much, because they're pretty reasonably priced. But there was a lot of these really cool, like, epic looking tabletop things, like the games, but they were like 3-dimensional, that people had like made out of their like little cities and stuff. So that was fun. Hopefully, I heard next year they're going to be a lot bigger. They probably need a lot more space, maybe for more vendors. The Artist Alley I felt really sorry for, because the part in Gen Con was taken really good care of, but the part over in, I think it was the Westin or something, wasn't, because I had spent all my money, so I was going to get a phone strap, but the one in the Westin, oh, you can't see, my window was sitting on my library. The one in the Westin, they had a few of the Artist Alley runoffs, and there were only like 4 tables because I got there later. But they could do it to where there's more people, or lower the prices for like booths out of the convention center, because it was advertised in the map, but they should have been like someone in the dealer's room like, oh, there's more stuff in this section of the building. But there was a guy there who made really cool dragons out of clay and armature, and it was just awesome. Dragons. There was a lot of really cool art. The prints I couldn't afford, like there were these really pretty fairy prints this woman did, but they're like $80 at least, so I couldn't afford those. But there's a lot of stuff. But a good budget would be $40. Next year, I don't know. I took 30 last year. Was it 30? Was it 30 or 20 last year? Not last year, a couple years ago. It was fine, and got a Sweet Coon plushie, and I should have got pins. It bugs me that I knew that, because I didn't know that was going to be my thing. Should take at least 40 if you can. You can survive on 20, because he was 12 and he was 16, and I still could have gotten him and an Ender, or tried to find, because I tried to get an Eevee evolution, even if they're those tiny little fat ones, at every convention that I go to. Other than Ash's comic book show, but I still get pins there every time I go. But that would be a reasonable price, because if I got like a pin, it was like 6 pins for $5, and me and my friend split it, and I got 3, and she got 2. But that would still leave me with, because they charge tax, that would leave me with enough money to still buy a pin. And I didn't have enough money to go to some of the really cool stuff, like someone would paint. There was a painting thing where someone would paint for you, which would have been awesome. I would take $10 extra out of your plan for events. I went on Sunday and we were in the dealer's room, and me and my friends decided to go to lunch. Didn't get back in time, but did some pretty interesting looking stuff that you could do, like making your own training card, which I wish I would have been able to go to, but I wish that the convention would, I mean, it lasted till 4, but most of the panels were closed. I think 5 should have been the time that they left it open to. I know it was because part of the convention center was having another convention, but I think next year it'll probably be better. I heard rumors that they're trying to get the Colts Stadium, and it'd be really cool to put like tabletop in the middle if they do, because then it would just be this whole sea of tabletop nerds and like the huge sporting arena. Which I don't know if they're trying to get Lucas Oil or what they are, because it's right next to the convention center. But that's just a rumor that I heard. I don't know if they're going to or not, but that would be awesome. But Gen Con was pretty fun, and if you go on Sunday, if I had 2 other friends that would have been able to go, I would have invited them, and that keeps costs down, because if you can't afford a 4-day badge, or if you can't, because I guess I know there was some mess with all that, just go on Sunday. It was nice. There weren't as many little children or as many cosplayers, but when there's not as many cosplayers, when you cosplay, I've cosplayed Fennekin. So if you were there, post on the comments if you took a picture of me, but and I'll post a link to the video that I'll make for that, but if there's not as many cosplayers, you stand out a lot more, and there weren't as many Pokemon cosplayers. I mean, there was a Lucario guy, there's me, my friend, and my other friend usually cosplays as a Pokemon trainer, but and there was an awesome Latias, but there were a few, and there were some trainers, and it was awesome, and I didn't have the time to enter in the Pokemon DS battle thing, but I might do that next year. It all depends. I have to get there earlier and figure out some stuff. So, review for Gen Con, I would give it about 3.5 to 4 stars, because like 5 stars is like 5, or like that mysterious 6 or 7 that don't put on my 1 to 5 scale. Are like amazing cons. Like PopCon, I loved. It was just wonderful panels and all that kind of stuff, which I might do like a late PopCon review and try to figure out like what plushies did I get at PopCon. But and sorry if this is a little long, but it was just, there's so much it did, and then we personally went out and did a photo shoot afterwards, and it was fun, and we walked down to the canal, and it was just wonderful. But there was so much to do, and so little time, but I wish there was a little more time. Maybe if the dealer's room opened at 9, I know that's a lot to ask the dealers that early, which I'm just saying, because I know the dealer's room closed at 4, and we left about 3:30 or something, but it's a really big room to walk through. It seems smaller than a couple years ago when I went, but it might just be they laid it out better, and there was a lot more easier flow through the aisles. So I mean, when I go to convention a lot of times, I love to shop, so that's in the panels, if they have panels that I'm really, really interested in. But yeah, anyways, I had a great time, and I hope they keep doing it, and I hope they keep the family passes, because I couldn't afford the $50 ticket, so $30 was reasonable, and that let me into the dealer's room, because that's mostly what I do, dealer's room, and then I'll go to 1 or 2 panels, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I hope that you check out Gen Con, and if you're from another state and you watch my channels, hope you liked my review. It was a little, kind of still hurting from all the walking yesterday, but I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed my Gen Con review, and I might put out a video of all the pictures I took. So, bye everyone! Hope I see you at Gen Con next year.